You can predicate what a man values based on what he's willing to kill, die, work hard for, or fight for. So often our relationships start rather casual, right? Let's keep it a bean. When we get with a woman initially, we trying to have sex. What will happen is she start to grow on us. We start to see her values more than just sex. And then she'll put the press on. Let's keep it tall, right? We know that that happens most often. The questions start to come. What are we? Who you dealing with? Is it just us, etc.? And then oftentimes what we do is we don't want to lose her, but we still in limbo. And so we acquiesce to the demands. Let's keep it 100, right? But I think we do it because we want to, but it's not most often because we we made the choice, but rather we were kind of coerced. And I'm talking about men that have a few options, even if just one or two, they kind of press us to make a decision. So now we in it, whether it's a relationship, meaning dating exclusively or monogamously, or an engagement, or even a marriage. But then what happens, right? We not vetting fully or properly because our pretense is casual sex the majority of the time. So we get with her because we love her. But what about everything else that actually matters? Because a lot of our complaints come from the lack of vetting her out thoroughly. Who's her family? How does she act when she's drunk? How does she act when she's mad? How does she act when she's embarrassed? What does she do when confronted with opposition? Whether it be at a work, people around you, exes, her exes, all that. What are her natural proclivities, right? We don't know these things, but we say that we want her to get on our plan. But how realistic is it? One, do we even have a plan? And two, how do we know she's going to fit into that plan or if she's even willing to? Everything is not going to 100% align, but we don't do the due diligence needed to be successful in these relationships. So now here's where we get the bad rap, fellas. We are having issues dealing with the woman, right? We don't like her modus operandi, but we are so accustomed to kind of dealing, pushing through. It is what it is and being fine. We very rarely are going to leave the situation or relationship first, even though we think, and better yet, we know we probably should. We're not getting the cooperation that we want. We're not getting our sexual appetites fulfilled. The disposition is off. She's too argumentative, right? How I like to converse doesn't align with how she likes to converse. Our communication is mediocre at best. What if your belief system comes into question? What is she willing to compromise on or acquiesce to, and even vice versa? How does she feel about being submissive? How do you feel about being a provider and protector? All these things come into question because of our modus operandi that do not align. The equally yoked means this: I bring the portion I need to bring. So as a man, if I think that I need to bring 60%, the yoke is equal with her bringing 40%. In any investment, generally speaking, a 20% return is fantastic. Fellas, I think we understand that we usually going to take a short. It just got to be worth taking. And a lot of the things that I aforementioned make that short worth taking. Her being kind, bringing you peace, being gentle, giving you that soothing feeling. A lot of these things you have to do by yourself, but she should be an enhancement to everything I just mentioned. So things start to go awry, but we don't leave. Instead, we do other things to satisfy that appetite outside of the relationship, though. And we don't communicate it. We just think that, okay, I'm going to stay here and deal, and I'm going to try to do something on the side or get the fulfillment that I need elsewhere. But I'm still going to take care of X, Y, and Z. When the truth is, we should have left. And we get this nigga ain't shit. He a dog ass nigga, etc., etc. Why? Because we are too afraid to take the step to disband, right? We already see the behavior. Don't be fooled, right? I think women have a level of intuition. I think they have the fortitude to keep going and find what they need to find. It'll be perceived as intuition, right? I think that we have the foresight to know what's going to work and not going to work, but we allow love to get in the way. Now, I think love should keep you there long enough to mine those things out. But at a point as a man, you got to stand on something. And this is where I think we fall short. So now I'm stepping out, I'm doing things, I'm not treating her how I used to, right? I'm disgruntled. And so I'm almost wanting her to pull the plug, essentially. I almost want her to pull the plug. But I'll tell you one thing about this court system. Whoever pulls the trigger first has the advantage. Instantly, if she pulls the trigger, you are the defendant. The connotation itself puts you at a deficit. As much as we don't want to be blamed, as much as we know that the failure of a marriage, a relationship kind of falls on the man, it is what it is. We have to be man enough to pull the plug. And we're pulling it because we know that this is not working. And it's not about happiness sake. It's about functionality. It's about success. It's about efficiency. It's about aligning with a person that you know has your best interest. So although you may love each other, the interest may not be there, right? The yoke may not be equal. And therefore, we're going to be unsuccessful. So in order to avoid a lot of the things that we complain about, we have to do our due diligence. Even if I was there for sex, once I understand it's going to be more than sex, I got to vet it thoroughly. And if I don't do that, I have to be man enough to disband that relationship and move on. But love is a motherfucker. That's for goddamn sure. But fellas, when we being men, make sure we man enough to get in that relationship, even with the pressure. And we got to make sure that we man enough to leave without doing things that paint us as unbecoming. Because the truth is, once you do those things outside of that relationship, based on the agreement that you have with that woman, you're going to be painted as the monster no matter what. And you saw the signs, but we didn't do nothing about it. They say women leave for happiness, right? Generally speaking, we don't leave. I think we need to reassess so we can save face, stay in grace, right? And not do things that we'll regret because of how that sullies our character. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Be safe and do the right thing, man. Like, share, subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. And I'm out.